Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Paving the Ways podcast. Today we have on a wonderful guest, Beth Katherine. Beth is a divine feminine business coach and primarily focuses on helping her clients align with their higher selves. She works with the angelic realms and dolphin consciousness to bring a lighthearted but powerful approach to her work. Currently, she's in Costa Rica eating a lot of mangoes. Me and Beth first met, I think, probably around 4 years ago on Vancouver Island, where she was living in Tofino. And I was also living for the good part of a year. And we met at a full moon circle that she was hosting. And then we did a trade. And then I ended up doing a mentorship with her a couple years ago. And I'm just a really big fan of your work, of her work, for the listeners. So I'm really excited to have you on the show. So welcome, Beth.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
So you're in Costa Rica at the moment. What does if there even is such a typical day for you, what could a day in the life of Beth look like at the moment?
It's been a little bit all over the place because I had a pretty good flow. I was staying in a town for 3 months, and then I decided to travel for a month, and I was going to go back, and then my whole life changed. I moved to a new town, so I'm still kind of figuring it out. But water, usually like going into some good water, whether that's a waterfall, getting to the ocean. And right now I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes with my clients as well. So creating a lot of content, a lot of audios, a lot of clearing audios for my clients, working with their higher selves, a lot of playing with dogs, a lot of looking at green jungle leaves. Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned these clearing codes. Can you tell me a bit more about those?
Yeah, those are really powerful. It took me a long time to just finally bring it all together into this program that I'm doing now. But as you said in the bio, I work a lot, like the majority of my work really comes down to aligning people with their own higher selves. So for those people listening that maybe don't fully, use the terminology higher self, your higher self is like the true part of you. It's the big part of you. It's your fractal of source energy that is literally enlightened. It's a master. It's able to see multidimensionally. It's able to see all the different pathways, all the different options. It knows what your soul mission is. It knows the best decisions for you. It knows why you're going through the challenges you are. It's you. Your higher self is you. And so I work a lot with angels and I work a lot with ascended masters, but ultimately, all the angels and ascended masters are actually mentoring you into is to rely on your own higher self and embody your higher self. They're helping that channel between you and you be stronger. So, in these clearings, what we're doing is this is specifically for sacred business beings that are wanting to share their work in business. So over many years I've worked with many people, and I've seen intuitively in their energy fields these codes and these templates and these patterns and these beliefs that hold us back from that next level experience that we want to have in our business and lives. So I am recording these audios right now. Some of them go like, okay, wherever you are blocking yourself creatively from really showing up, sharing your work online, I'm asking your higher self to clear it, release it, delete it, transmute it across all time, dimension, space, reality. Maybe it's money stuff. Okay, wherever you are afraid of making a lot of money, you're afraid the government's going to take it and persecute you, so you're trying to keep yourself hidden and not make so much money subconsciously, asking again your higher self to clear that. And those are just the clearing sessions, and we do a lot more of like also downloading the good stuff as well.
So are these something that you use on yourself as well during your?
Yeah,
Because I know
yeah,
personally traveling is amazing, but it also comes with its huge, for me, emotional distress and burnout often.
yeah, having a moment of that, because I'm actually nomadic now. So So this might be my home. This might not be my home. I don't really know what's happening right now, but for sure, I'm putting myself through my own program right now, as well as making more specific ones for myself as well.
So when you're moving around so much, what do you have like techniques or rituals that you use to kind of keep you grounded and stable even amidst the physical moving?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really big into your vertical channel. So that is grounding into the core crystal of the earth and just visualizing that. And then sending your heart light up to the great central sun. And then just having this pillar of light moving through your body. I also like to do some ceremony on the land. That helps me to connect with the land and the ancestors of the land and feel a little bit more like I can land a little bit. And then just on a practical note, what really helps me is just having my own space, my own kitchen, my own sort of beautiful safe space in nature, that if I'm going through, like I was yesterday, a lot of emotions and I need to just like cry like crazy, like I'm good. I'm not like trying to share space with all these other people or just around like chaos.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, you have a meditation on YouTube bringing you into that vertical channel, feeling above and below.
Yeah.
If people want to check it out, I'll put the link in the show notes.
Right.
So what does the difference in like daily life look like when you're operating from your higher self compared to when we're operating from our, let's say, fully more human self? What would you call the opposite
I
of
usually
your
call it
higher
like a
self?
small self, or even just like over identified with the mind.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. Like the main thing that I notice probably is synchronicity is just, I mean, so much synchronicity can happen when you're in alignment with your higher self, because you don't know that the reason you turned left on the street is because your higher self impulsed you. But if you're filling yourself with your higher self every day and you're like, oh, I feel like going left right now, and you do, and you meet somebody 5 meters down that ends up changing your life, or there was just a really practical little but big example when I was in Mexico recently, and this was just a few weeks ago, and I had booked this, usually have my own place, like my own little Airbnb, but I'm like, I'm going to be like, try to be a little more social right now. I'm going to get a private room at a hostel, like maybe meet some people. This place looked really nice. It had really nice pictures. And yeah, I thought that that's what I wanted to do. So I booked 8 nights there, and I show up at this place, and originally they say, oh, we don't have your reservation. We don't have the room available. And I was like, what? Like I'm just fresh in Mexico. I just really want to relax. And then they were kind of like showing me around, saying like, oh, well, we could make it work. We could move you from here to here. And I was like, this place sucks. Like I was like, the energy here is so bad. And it wasn't, okay, that's like, for me, it was okay. For me, I would have been like, no way am I wanting to stay here for 8 nights. And I contacted everybody, and like the booking did fully go through, but like they lost it. They weren't able to see it. And I knew in that moment, like that was my higher self, that was my guides. They literally blocked the booking. Like I knew it. And within like really quick, I found like the perfect spot that I was actually supposed to be in. So it's almost like even when you don't make aligned decisions, like there's a magical thing, your higher self can actually interface with the 3D world so deeply, along with your guides and source energy, that it's just, I feel just very guided all the time.
Yeah, I wonder if you can relate to this, because in my experience, I used to consciously say every day, okay, like my align with my highest path, and I ask my higher self to guide me in my decisions today, la la la. And the more that I did that, the less I felt like I actually had to say it, and it felt like this merging. And now my higher self is just kind of fully with me in my body most of the time, so I don't even have to be so consciously aware of stating it. Can you relate to that?
For me, I'm a sound person, so I'm like, I'm always saying, higher self, fill me, higher self, fill me, higher self, fill me. I'm sure everybody's path is a little bit different, but yeah, for me, I'm really big on just just the sound invocations and asking for whatever I want to happen out loud. And that's actually what I'm teaching my clients right now too. I'm just working with a bunch of audios.
Yeah, because I think you said that you're using a lot more sound in your programs now.
Yeah.
How did you kind of come to that realization that you needed to put more into it?
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of pieces came together. Because I'm like a whale dolphin being. Like I am like a mermaid, blue, turquoise, water. Like that's my thing. I'm a singer. So sound is just always naturally very important. And sound is important for everybody. It's like the building block of the universe. So I think it just in the last few months, I was just like, what is the perfect program that I wish that was out there. I'd want to put together. And it really came down to speaking commandments out loud, like asking the higher self to do like this, like higher self, fill me with prosperity codes. Higher self, thank you for showing me the best pathway with money right now. And for me, when I say things out loud, the sound frequency can change your whole reality. So I don't know, it was just like, I think it's just I call them soul codes. So we all have these unique pieces, right? You have your own unique medicine that you came in with that you're meant to express and share. And that will be a little bit different than mine probably. And I think mine, one of my codes that I carry is the medicine of sound and invocation and the power of that.
And why do you think that sometimes we have to say these things so many times? Why could it not just, be once and then it be done?
It's possible in the quantum reality, but you would have to believe it so wholeheartedly that what ends up happening is just like, what could I compare this to? It's almost like wrinkles in a fabric. If there's wrinkles really, really strong, if something's been balled up really tight, the wrinkles are like, they're kind of going to just stay there until they've been like really worked out. It's like the pattern in the energy fields. If you lean towards self-doubt, or if you have trauma from ancestors in the DNA, it's the normal patterns. It's literally the way your brain will work, your neurotransmitters and what will fire off in your brain, your thoughts, your emotional body. So if someone's in the flow of not feeling good about themselves and they just say out loud once, higher self, thank you for helping me to feel good about myself. The higher self can come in, take a layer off for sure, but the patterns are, it's, for me, it's the way that I see energy. It's just what I've experienced, that it's very easy to just keep going back to what we lean on. So we need enough light, we need enough medicine, little by little by little, to actually change the patterning, change the templates, so that the energy is now flowing in self-confidence. So that's kind of how I see it. And then the other piece too is, being in a human body is a thing. We know it's a thing. It's a whole thing. So if we want to go from, say, pattern of like really strong self-doubt to being fully in love with ourselves, if we experience that healing in a millisecond, it's possible. In the quantum, it's possible, and our bodies are becoming much lighter right now, so these things will be much easier for us. But there is actual like physical stuff that needs to purge through the body. So there might be a massive healing crisis if the body has to detox that much, that fast. And it's happened to probably a lot of us, where we do something, we go to this training, this retreat, or something happens, and we end up purging really, really fast, really, really quick. Doesn't happen to everybody, but you call that healing crisis, when there's just so much energy that got moved and the body has to catch up. And it can be quite challenging. It can be very challenging on the emotions, because in my experience, this stuff does have to move and clear through the body and through the emotional body for it to come out. I believe in like quantum instant healings, like I said, but we're getting there. I feel like we're in that transition phase where things were really, really dense, and now things are lightening up. So more and more is possible, quicker and quicker.
And what do you see life or the world, let's say, starting to look like if more and more people are really tuning into their higher selves and really following their highest path?
Yay! Well, just visually, from like an intuitive perspective, you can look at like the grids or the geometries around the earth, And some of the grids are really beautifully in place, like the Christ consciousness grid. And it almost would look like there's sacred geometry. Like think of a flower of life over, printing the earth. But right now we have a lot of distortion and a lot of like slavery grids and like all this stuff that looks like just crazy, right? So the more people that are actually tuning into their higher self, you're actually feeding like the sacred geometry grids, and it's like energy can just move the way it's intended. Like life is meant to be prosperous and healthy and joyous in its original crystalline state. So the more people that resonate and vibe with their higher selves and call that in, they'll experience that on the micro, just more prosperity and more joy and more freedom and so many good things. But also for the whole world, that is able to, every time we do that for ourselves, it actually makes it easier for other people because we strengthen the crystalline grids, we strengthen the Christ consciousness grids, and so forth.
Beautiful. So you mainly help people with their businesses and I think like money, if I remember correctly. How did you end up going down that path?
Yeah, well, I do help people with money. I wouldn't say money is like my main focus. I would say my main focus is like alignment with the soul mission, because when we're aligned with the soul's mission, everything that we need just kind of comes to us. But I do obviously teach on money quite a bit, because it's something that's like really important for our sacred businesses to get out there. And I have a very like divine feminine lensing. So it came because I've really struggled in my business for the first like 4 years. I was making ends meet. I could pay for everything, but I had no savings and I was always stressed about rent. And I wasn't teaching about business then. I was just purely working with angels, doing angel intuitive readings, teaching about the goddess, the divine feminine. And I started to connect with some different teachers and some different inner processes that happened that really changed and transformed it, so that I was not in that place anymore. I wasn't having anxiety about money every day. I got to the point where I didn't worry about money, and my business, would triple and quadruple, and I just at the time. So this was maybe like 4 years ago. At the time, there was really nothing out there for like divine feminine and priestesses in business. Now it's like this wave of like this, renaissance of like so many people are doing it. But back then there weren't. And I was like, this is a missing piece. I have a finance degree, I have a business background, I have a business mind. And I'm also like incredibly divine feminine, incredibly spiritual and multidimensional. And I figured some stuff out in my business for sure. And then I just connected with my other sort of divine feminine, beings of spiritual cosmic love. And I knew that there was a resistance to business there. And there is a resistance to learning about marketing and money. The people that usually come to me are not the like, oh my God, I was hustling so much and this and like super in their masculine. Occasionally I will get some of those people, but usually the people that, come to me and I work with are the really feminine people who are so sensitive, who are wounded by patriarchy, who have been priestesses in other lifetimes, and are like deep down, they're like, I don't even want to run a business. I just want to do my healing work. And so like many years ago, I realized, well, but you do want to run a business because you want to do this full time and you want to be able to commit your life to it. So it was just this inner calling of like, let's bring these two worlds together and let's help the divine feminine beings who are really sensitive release some of that resistance to business, and let's create a new paradigm here for what this can mean, and be led by the womb and be led by the higher self, be led by the heart. And since then it's just like, just been the whole thing. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm feeling like really unable to think right now. So I don't know why this huge well of emotion just came over me as you were speaking. I was like, just almost wanted to like throw my laptop at the wall. I'm feeling like I've got like the cat's got my tongue or something. and I don't quite know what to do about it, but I'm loving all that you're saying. So I'll probably have to cut this bit out.
You just take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe there's some of that like triggered something for you, you know, about priestesses and past lives and resistance to business. And
yeah, that's very true.
just take your time, just feel into.
So if you're facing a resistance, something like this, do you have a process that you could kind of share with the listeners if they got triggered by a situation during their day or something didn't go as they kind of consciously wanted it to?
Yeah, I have a little toolbox. I am probably, well, I'm not sure who's listening, but probably, you know, a lot of you could resonate with having your own little toolbox. So I can share some of what's in mine. I kind of have this like very divine feminine rose love energy that I could go to, or this very like cosmic clearing blue violet Archangel Michael vibe. So I'll explain what I mean, and I have to feel into what I need in that moment. So if I'm just, there's a lot of emotion and it just wants to be, it just wants to be loved, you know. It's like, okay, I just literally say I love you. I love the one who's feeling resistant. I love you. Thank you so much for showing up. And breath and love, breath and love. Like not trying to fix it or change it. And then there's this other side where it might just be not feeling as deep, or I will do the clearing processes, right? So like, okay, you know, higher self, Archangel Michael, wherever I'm really, you know, scared in this area of my life, or wherever I'm having resistance to this, whatever it is, thank you so much for clearing it and releasing it and deleting it and transmuting it across all time, dimension, space, and reality. So it's a little bit more like cosmic, because it's just like, let's get the light in, bringing the light in, clearing it and transmuting it. The funny thing is with both of these approaches, they actually kind of do the same. It's the same thing, but it can feel very different, because when you're bringing the light in to clear it, release it, delete it, transmute it, a lot of people think that means like banishing it, you know, like just get it away, get it out of my body. But really what that means is bring this back into the light of source, bring this energy back into the light of source so it can remember who it is, and it can be redistributed somewhere in the universe that it's naturally meant to be. So it is actually love. It's like, I love you so much. I'd like you to go back to the lights. And then there's the more divine feminine one that's like, oh, I'm going to feel this. The thing that I didn't understand like 5 or 6 years ago is there's a limit. Okay. There's a difference, right, for me between feeling it and processing it for 10 minutes and then going up and dancing and moving it, versus staying in bed for 3 days wallowing in it, which is what I used to do. I was like, I'm feeling it, feel it to heal it, baby. You know, I was like, okay, well, you feel depressed for 3 days now and you've done like nothing. So there's also, you know, there's a balance there between both of those approaches for me.
Mm-hmm. And finding the line between when it's like feeling it and wallowing it is also part of the learning process for me. So this might be quite a big question, but why do you think there is this separation between our higher selves and our more kind of monkey selves or smaller selves?
Oh yeah, that's
said?
the question of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
All I could really say about that is the universe has a divine plan, and I feel it's along the lines of the universe remembering itself. I had a really funny mushroom experience many years ago where I like literally was the universe, and I was just laughing at myself being the universe of like, oh, I forgot to remember, like I forgot to remember myself. And I've heard a lot of spiritual teachers say that too. It's like, and I don't know why the universe thought that would be a fun idea. Like, I really don't. You know, I think it'd be more fun personally to just stay in alignment with heart energy all the time and always remember who you are as just the energy of unending love and bliss. to me that would make more sense. But I trust the universe that, you know, the thing that comes through too is like expansion. Like it's a way for the universe to expand itself by forgetting and remembering, and there's expansion happening within that all the time.
Mm-hmm. And making mistakes along the way. I guess maybe we'll see at some points in our lives or our daughters or granddaughters' lives that second example that you said, where we're all just living from our heart and everything is harmonious. Although maybe then that will happen and we'll get bored again and switch things up. So if you had to share something, I mean, you've already shared a lot, but is there anything on your mind that you'd like our listeners to hear today?
What would I like you to hear today? Let me just feel into that for a second. All right. Yeah, this message has been streaming through a lot lately, and I just want to share it with everyone because it's like the OG message of life. And that is this message around our preciousness and our divine innocence. Whether we've grown up religious or not, there's a massive amount of energy that goes into the collective and into people to teach us from a very young age that we're wrong in some way, whether it's from a religious context that we've sinned, whether it's just growing up in a house that we literally we're told we're bad because we did something wrong. You know, we lied, so then our mom said you're bad, you're a bad girl or you're a bad boy. Like, so we take on these energies from a very, very early age. I would say even while in the womb, that feel like we're bad, we're wrong in some way, we're dirty, we're not enough, and we're constantly atoning for that. And even if you think about the law of attraction and all this stuff manifesting, I really believe a lot of that comes from a very wounded place of feeling like I'm bad and I'm wrong. It will help me to be enough as if I have the money and if I have the status and I have the things that the world values, then I will feel good, I will feel pure and like myself again, which obviously is not the case. So the invitation is just to remember, someone said this on a Gaia conversation I was watching many months ago, and it just stuck with me so deeply, is that the invitation is to meditate on your own preciousness. Because the truth is you're precious and you're divine and you're innocent, and you might have made mistakes, but it's never tarnished your divine innocence and the fact that you are God, you are source, you are divine. So if we really can start to feel I'm so precious, I'm innocent, I'm innocence itself, not only does it free up so much energy for us, it also allows us to feel worthy of the things that we do want to call in as well. Because if you are someone that wants to pursue your sacred business or any sort of goals that you have, we can often sort of block that from ourselves, as we know, because deep down we don't feel worthy of having that much joy, that much prosperity. So for our own happiness, for our own peace, for our own soul's mission, and then for our own experience of what we get to live in our lives, that coming back to just this mantra, I am precious. Like, I am precious, I am light itself, I am precious, I am whole, I am divine. And it takes a lot of pressure off when you start to remember that.
That's beautiful. I was thinking yesterday about a mother looking at a child, and the child's falling and they're stumbling over their words. They're a toddler.
And they're saying, hot mess.
Yeah, I can't do this. I can't walk. I can't talk. And then if that carried on into adulthood and they still believed they couldn't walk and talk, the pain that the mother would feel knowing how much potential their child has and they're not even seeing it in themselves, and kind of referring that back to us. Like, if we knew the potential and the ability and the power and the preciousness that we had within us, it would, I think, relieve a lot of grief from the world, because it's like essentially our Mother Earth is grieving that we don't even realize how amazing we are, a lot of us anyway.
Yeah.
So meditating on our preciousness, I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
heart is actually stretching right now. I can feel it like
Oh,
expanding a bit.
yeah, I am precious.
Amazing. So what are you up to at the moment? You're in the middle of a program, is that right?
Yeah, I'm up to being a little bit of a hot mess and a cosmic beautiful dolphin queen and a hot mess. I'm working. It's currently called Crystalline Priestess Entrepreneur. I think I'm gonna rename it for next time though. So I'm, channeling through this content for this course. The women are having really good experience so far, and lots of shifting, which feels really good. Um, and I'm just sort of sitting in the in between right now because I know that there's a lot that's wanting to come through and be birthed. I work a lot with Archangel Michael, and last night, he came through again. Like this course, this work has been in the works for a long time that just hasn't been ready. And so who knows? I might be creating a course how to work with Archangel Michael soon. Let me just tell you. I'll tell you what came through. You heard it here first. I really liked it because it's on the vibe that we're talking about. It was like Michael came through, and it was around how to remember yourself as angelic royalty. Because truly, that's who we are. We are angels on earth, and we are royal. Like, that's who our higher self is. So if we can remember that, right? If you can remember yourself, I am an angel and I'm royal, I am angelic royalty. Like, how much easier is our life going to be when we're not like, oh, I didn't get enough likes on Instagram, or like, he didn't call me back, or, whatever it is, right? It's like, no, dude, like, I am angelic royalty. So something around that, we'll see. There's so much always wanting to come through. I don't even know what it's going to be.
I feel like that's another thing you could meditate on, being angelic royalty.
Mm-hmm.
Just carry it through your days.
Yeah, super badass.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay, well, I will put your information in the notes below for the listeners that want to catch up with you, maybe follow you on Instagram or sign up to your mailing list. And yeah, I'm feeling always like in awe of your work and the authenticity that comes through, and just it's like the realness amongst the spiritual stuff. And I love your essence. So thank you for coming on and sharing some of it with us.
Thank you so much. That's really sweet.